Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, June 6th, 2025. Welcome to another eBay video. Tonight's main topic is going to be the eBay Summer Seller Newsletter, where they seem to have set their sights on eBay Motors and are, in my opinion, doing their best to disrupt commerce. I'm going to talk about that in great detail, and I'm going to do a cutaway once I introduce the rest of the show. The other topics are going to be more about those darn geriatrics. I've got some good stories for you this week. I'm going to talk about a problem I've been incurring recently, and only recently, where buyers are refusing to return the item, but rather want to exchange the item. Not happening. I'm also going to talk about a really stupid buyer who put his foot in his mouth and opened a case against me when he shouldn't have, and he got schooled. I'm also going to talk about a funny overseas best offer I got. A problem I'm still occurring as recently as today, where I'm getting reasonable best offers. eBay tells me I'll be paid immediately, and I'm not being paid at all. I'm going to tie that topic into the Summer Seller Newsletter later on. And I'm also going to talk about the general mindset that seems to be permeating the room at eBay Incorporated. All right, that's a brief rundown of the show. Let's get into the main topic first, which is going to be the Summer Seller Newsletter. It came out on Wednesday, and I was tempted to do a video Wednesday night, but I never got around to it, and I'm glad I didn't. I wanted to incorporate it into tonight's video because it's easier for me if I only make one video a week. I know there's people out there cranking them out like copy machines. Hey, more power to them. I don't know how they do it. I can't. I'm too busy listing things and doing other things. But yeah, the Summer Seller Newsletter came out, and it totally has gone after eBay Motors. They are changing policy in parts and accessories. Who do we know that sells in parts and accessories? Oh, I know, Cute Joey. But what they did a lousy job on is making it clear for the seller exactly what's going on. In fact, I will even go out on a limb here, and I will say that the person or persons who wrote this section of the Summer Seller Newsletter do not even know the size tire they have on their car and have little or no experience in e-commerce selling auto parts. That's the only excuse I can possibly come up with for what I read. It is one of the most ambiguous things I've ever seen. But what I'm going to do, real quick, I'm going to do a cutaway, the one and only cutaway tonight, to show you the Summer Seller Newsletter and the changes with free returns in parts and accessories. Then I want to really get into the nitty-gritty, and I want to discuss it in detail. So let's get to the cutaway now. Okay guys, please direct your attention to the screen as I walk you through Seller News June 2025, which eBay announced on Wednesday. I want you to look over to the right side under Seller Protections. What an absolute misnomer the term Seller Protections is for what I'm about to show you. I want to specifically cover return policy for eligible parts and accessories listings. So let's take a look at that right now. eBay is actually making it sound like they're doing us a favor. eBay covers 50% of the cost of our return shipping labels on eligible parts and accessory listings. Now, hey, doesn't that sound good on its face? But once you start peeling back the layers, I want you to think very carefully about what you're seeing. Okay? They're saying right here, based on buyer feedback, easy and free return policy plays a crucial role when choosing where to shop. Okay, I'll buy that. I don't have a problem with that statement as it is. To better meet these expectations and give you a competitive edge, we're updating our return policy for eligible parts and accessories listings by offering free returns. We're here to support you, so we'll automatically subsidize these return label costs by 50% going forward. But wait. Now let's peel back the layers. I want you to see this. First of all, let's talk about who's required to offer these returns in parts and accessories. Here is the criteria. The item has to be listed on eBay.com in the US. The item is being shipped to a buyer in the US. The price of the item is more than $10. The item is either new or new other. And lastly, it's a fixed price, buy it now listing. Okay? Now, what they're not being clear on, and they haven't stated it anywhere that I've seen, is what happens if the item is used. Is the item excluded? I sure hope so. But for now, let's just stick with this criteria. Okay? Let's scroll down and let's see, again, there are certain categories that are excluded from the return policy, okay? For instance, wheels and tires. They excluded them because they're very large and very expensive to ship. And of course, tire and wheel packages too are large and expensive to ship. Transmissions, manual transmissions, engines, anything that's basically a freight shipment is basically excluded, okay? Because eBay doesn't want to pay half of that, because that stuff is a lot of money. But what I want to show you is this one. Is the subsidized eBay label applicable to all types of returns? Now follow me closely. The 50% reduction in eBay labels applies only when a buyer changes their mind after purchasing an item and wants to return it. Now, heretofore, if a buyer chose changed mind, the buyer paid 100% of the return fee because that's buyer remorse and it's on them. What eBay is doing now is they're letting these buyers skate like Tanya Harding, and none of them are going to pay any return shipping. eBay will pay half, and we, the sellers, have to pay the other half. So they're not doing us any favors. They make it sound like they're giving us 50% toward the expense. Just the opposite. They're socking it to us. They're charging us 50% more than we previously ever had to pay for something that's out of our control just because a buyer changed his mind. To continue, if a buyer wishes to return an item because it doesn't fit their vehicle, we'll cover the cost of the return shipping under the eBay Guaranteed Fit program. Okay, once again, they're not saying what happens whether the buyer does or does not fill out the eBay Guaranteed Fitment chart. Half the buyers don't bother filling it out, so I don't know what's going to happen in those cases. Lastly, if the buyer reports that the item arrived damaged or doesn't match the listing description, the seller is responsible for the full cost of the return label, which is the way it's been forever. But what eBay is not addressing here either is what happened if the buyer is falsely claiming doesn't match listing description. eBay is doing absolutely nothing to hold buyers accountable for scamming the system. Things are getting worse, not better. Once again, the system is designed to bite the seller in the rear end and encourage bad buyer behavior. Let us now get back to the video. Alright guys, I wanted to go over that first because I think some of you may not have seen it or read it. And now I want to discuss some of what I showed you. But I want to preface my discussion with something I've been noticing for years. And this has to do with what I'm going to call the double standard of eBay. You may remember just a few minutes ago I said that I had been sent a best offer, promised immediate payment, and was never paid at all. eBay has been promising us for 4 freaking years they would correctly roll out immediate payment. They still haven't, and it doesn't even work at all with overseas offers. My question to you good people, how the hell does it take them 4 years or more to roll out something beneficial to sellers when they can implement the free shipping requirements, the free returns requirements through parts and accessories in 1 month? It's like apples and oranges. They seem to be more interested in doing things that suits them than things that suit the average seller. I've said it before, but this one really hit home. As far as the ambiguity is concerned, I showed you a list of applicable reasons why and when a parts and accessories seller will be forced to accept free returns. One of the conditions was if the item is new or new other. Another one was it has to be over $10. And you remember all the others. For instance, how about those of us who sell used auto parts and fit every single criteria except for the condition not being new or new other? Nowhere in the seller newsletter did it mention used auto parts. I'm not sure if it was by design or by sheer stupidity, but I'm really bummed out the way this was written. I don't think it was written very well at all, and it saddens me. It saddens me because eBay Motors has always been a cash cow, and they're trying to turn it into Amazon. Now they're doing it by force. And I know most of you guys don't sell in motors, but for Christ's sake, please use this. It's going to be like a cancer. Today, eBay Motors. Tomorrow, it could be your category. I wouldn't be surprised if the clothing sellers get hit next, being forced to offer free returns. And what's really mind-boggling, if you read the precursor to the Summer Seller newsletter, they made themselves sound magnanimous that they were actually going to step up and pay 50% of the return fee. But I want to point something out to you, and this is what some people don't get. All right? Previously, when an eBay buyer purchased something from us and returned it and selected changed mind or just didn't like it, the buyer would be responsible for the entire return shipping fee, and that's only fair because they made a mistake. With this new free return setup, eBay is going to pay half, and we, the innocent sellers, have to pay the other half. And the buyer gets to skate like Tanya Harding with no repercussions and no monetary stipends involved. Let me put it to you another way, and this is going to be a little bit vulgar, but I have to be a little vulgar to get my point across. It's like if you followed your dog outside and she laid a steaming hot pile of mierda and you caught it on a plate and you then handed it to your best friend and said, have some filet mignon. That's basically my interpretation here. They're acting like they're doing something for us. They're not doing anything for us. We're losing. Open your eyes. Now, what happens when buyers return something for wrong size doesn't fit? Okay? eBay says that they will pay the return shipping on that. But again, here's the ambiguity. Suppose the customer does not use the eBay fitment guide, like half my customers don't do now. What happens then? Who's responsible? Again, another unanswered question. Okay? What happens with item not as described cases, or doesn't match pictures or description? That remains the same, whereas we are on the hook for the return shipping. But considering we all know, everyone watching this video knows buyers have been abusing, they've been abusing the item not as described selection to get the free shipping back. Why the hell is eBay not improving things and giving us the option to fight or question a particular item not as described case? Now think about it. They sure can get, woohoo, they can get that horse moving to now institute free returns on many parts and accessories. Why can't they simply institute an ad hoc committee to check when buyers abuse the system? And we all know they do it. Does anybody out there want to take a guess why? You know why. Come on. I'm not happy to be out here tonight bringing up these topics, but I goddamn will. If eBay was implementing this new free return program system-wide, well, that's a whole different story. Everybody's equal. Hey, you deal with it. But when they pick the forgotten son, eBay Motors, and target eBay Motors for this, yeah, people are asking me if I'm getting a little pissed off. And until now, I never really had an answer, but I'm thinking, yeah, I'm getting a little pissed off. It is no secret that eBay Motors has a much higher return rate than all the other categories. No one's going to argue with that, I don't think. Christ, today alone, I've had 2 returns already, and the day's nowhere near over. One of the returns really bummed me out because the guy sent me a best offer, which I accepted. Why would he go through the trouble of sending me a best offer instead of getting off his duff and checking his wheel size? This is the kind of thing that's going to happen to you daily when you sell on eBay Motors. And to have eBay turn around and insist on free returns starting July 15th, even if it's just for new items, I think it's inexcusable. I think it basically shows us what value we have to the firm, or lack thereof. For those of you guys who are selling new, keep in mind, what happens if a buyer rips your item open, takes it out, tries to use it, and it's wrong? Now he's going to return it. You can't sell it as new anymore. Plus, you've got to give this clown a free return. I don't know if you're going to be able to survive, guys. I just don't. All right. Basically, that's all I'm going to talk about right now with that Summer Seller newsletter. I was almost going to say another word there, and I really had to bite my tongue. really had to bite my tongue. I'm very unhappy with this. I'm very unhappy that it affects eBay Motors. And to be honest with you, at this point, I'm not 100% sure if used auto parts are affected or not. They may not be. I don't know. I haven't been given an answer. If this had been a question on a high school test and they submitted this as their term paper, it would be marked incomplete because not all the information is there. All right, now I'm going to move on to some hopefully lighter topics. Oh my gosh. All right, to make you guys chuckle a little, I had a best offer the other day overseas, outside of the USA, and this best offer basically was a slam dunk, absolute decline. Now the amount he offered me was reasonable. He offered me $69, I think, on an item that was $79 or something like that. And I swear to you, I swear on my life, I was ready to push the accept button. But then I looked. eBay tells me I have to wait 4 days to be paid, and I may not get paid at all, and if I don't get paid, that's too bad for me. The buyer gets to skate with no repercussions, and he had zero feedback. I took a screenshot of it and I sent it to a few friends of mine who sell in motors too, because it's just out of control. Buyers can still crank out these accounts with no intention of paying and no repercussions. In the year 2025, there's been no improvement. Oh, but there's going to be free returns. Here's a story about a geriatric who screwed himself. Because these people are so out of step with society, even when they technically did nothing wrong, they still refuse to follow directions. This didn't happen to me. It happened to another seller on eBay, and he related the story to me, but I think it's worth telling. So, the other seller, I'm going to try and reach for something here, had two items that were similar but not exact. Let's just say these two items. These are both from an Acura. One's black, one's silver. One day, both of them sold on the same day at the same time. It is a coincidence to two different people. The seller made a mistake and sent the black one to the guy who wanted the silver one, and the silver one to the guy who wanted the black one. All right? I've done that maybe twice in 25 years, I think. But it happens. So the guy who ordered the silver one and got the black one was the first one to complain. He wrote to the other seller a nasty message saying that this is a piece of crap, it's not what he wanted. He wanted the silver one. The other seller realized exactly what he did wrong. He took full responsibility. He said, "Sir, I'm sorry. It's totally my fault. I will generate a label for you to return that. And then when I get it back, I'll send you the correct one. I apologize profusely." Okay, sounds fair, right? What do you think Mr. 82-year-old Geriatric did? Did he use the label? No. He sealed the box back up and put on it "refused, return to sender," which is a postal violation. You know that. That's a postal violation. Number two, because the post office then sent it back to the other seller and marked it as refused, this Geriatric has technically lost all his buyer protections. Think about that. Now the other guy who received the other cat that he should have gotten, the other seller contacted him and the guy was nice as could be. nice as could be, totally understanding, said, hey, listen, as long as I get the hub that I ordered, I don't mind waiting a week or so. And of course, the guy was about maybe 45 years old. But right, it just shows you the difference in the mindset. I swear to you, man, don't think I'm a hater, because I'm not. I'm reporting facts. Now, on that train of thought, I got one that happened to me the other day. I was going to do screenshots, but I just don't have time. This is going to run way too long as it is. The other night, a person sends me a best offer of $150 plus shipping for an item that's $159. Now that sounds like a great deal. eBay tells me I'm going to be paid right away. Not that that means anything, but they did tell me that. I go to click accept and I see a love note. Oh no, a love note. The love note said something to this effect. Hello, Joe. I purchased one of these from you last week and I'm not happy with it. Would you be willing to give me a $30 credit on these? And if you do, I will send you back the other one. Why is he sending me an offer that's binding for $150 if he wants a $30 credit? Now, do you know what would have happened if I would have accepted that offer? It would have hopefully gone right through, and he would have spent $150 plus the shipping. Now, I don't mind taking a return of the other one. That's fine. But that's a whole different situation. All right? We've got two different deals going here. I'm not mixing them. So I refused the offer. So I'm thinking to myself, I got a bad feeling about this guy. I wonder if I should block him. While I'm thinking it, cha-ching, he spends the $159. I'm not kidding you, plus the shipping. So now I had to send him those items. And the ironic part is, if he hadn't put that stupid love note in, I would have gladly accepted his $150 offer with no complaints whatsoever. I don't mind dickering on prices with people. I'm very reasonable. I'm very willing to dicker. But when they put a love note in there, that is an automatic no-brainer. That's another thing eBay needs to take care of, and they never will, is they should eliminate the space for the love note. All right? I'm not looking for a date. All right? You're in the wrong place. This is e-commerce. All right? Either you make me an offer or you don't. No stipulations, none of that crap. Alrighty. Let's see if there's anything else I want to discuss. Oh, yes. Remember in last week's video, I told you the story about two different buyers who purchased items, paid right away. I shipped the items out, and a week later, they wrote to me demanding I change the address. Now, I didn't have the items back. Okay? I still don't. But the thing is, even if I did, I wouldn't do it. I'm not spending double shipping. That's not the way it works. Buyers are responsible to have their address on file. Okay? So I told you that this guy opened an item not received case. I told you I called concierge, and they told me I had to wait till the 4th. Okay? The 4th, which was yesterday, or the day before, before I could do anything, even though the representative could clearly see that it was the buyer's fault and he admitted he gave me a wrong address. Okay? So I decided, fine, I'll play the game, I'll wait till the 4th. Somehow, some way, the buyer was able to escalate it to a case. I don't know how he could do this. Maybe one of you can jump in and tell me this. He's got an item not received case open against me. I have answered it by providing the correct tracking, which shows it made it to Texas, and he gave me a wrong address. Now it looks like it's on its way back, but I did my part. How is he able to then escalate it to a case against me? I don't know. So I get the notice that there's a case open against me, and almost immediately I got a notice from eBay saying the case was closed in my favor because it shows that I did due diligence, sent it to the address on file, and that the buyer violated eBay policy by not having his correct address on file. Okay, win one for cute Joey. That's great. I'm now expecting this person to do a chargeback with his credit card company. He hasn't done it yet. We'll see what happens with that one. It's just been a crazy, crazy week once again. And I can deal with the trials and tribulations of selling online. It's to be expected. Returns are to be expected. I get plenty of them. But with eBay now changing policy, this is worrisome. I think you all know that it's going to spread like a cancer to other categories in eBay. I'm not sure why they started with parts and accessories. I take this to heart. Okay? I take this to heart. By the way, I will be talking to some eBay executives next week. What day is it? I think it's Thursday. I've been invited to a get-together not far from me in Brooklyn, New York, and it's for East Coast sellers, and I hope to see some of my fellow East Coast sellers there. If any of you guys do go and you see me, feel free to come up and commiserate with me because I have a lot to talk about. Of course, you might have a little problem in getting to me because I'm going to be spending some time with these folks, with these nice people, and I'm going to be asking them, why? Why make these changes? Sellers pay the bills. I know you want buyers on the platform. I get that. But you don't want people that are going to abuse the privilege. And, you know, it's been my experience that when a buyer abuses the privilege one time, he's just going to keep doing it, and doing it, like that 5th grade bully in grammar school that kept trying to take people's lunch money. Until you stand up, no one's going to stand up for you. You have to speak up. That's why, if you do go to these events, and I really suggest you do, even if you live out west, they have them out there, please, for Christ's sake, talk to the people at eBay. Respectfully, of course. Don't curse them out or anything. Explain how you feel as an eBay seller, how you feel maybe that you're not valued. I don't see why anyone should be expected to offer free returns, especially in auto parts, which is one of the most difficult categories. Trust me on this. And I know cars, all right? You're talking to somebody who went to a junkyard at 11 years old. I was the only kid ever allowed in the junkyard. And I think someday I'll make another video like I did years ago and tell you some of my kid junkyard stories because I think you'd really enjoy them. But for now, I've gone way, way, way over half an hour. I'm Crazy New York Driver and you're not. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it informative and I hope you found it enjoyable and entertaining. Please feel free to comment on everything I talked about, especially the change in policy with eBay wanting parts and accessories sellers to offer free returns on new items. I'm not sure about used. If you've heard anything, comment below. Hope you make a ton of money on eBay. Rock on and peace.